Oh, look at that with a itchy trigger finger there. How is everybody tonight?
Good to see you, Steve. How are things?
Good, good, good. A little bit of international travel, getting back into the swing of things. My phone's kind of blowing up. We're running a little late, but other than that, things are good. No complaints.
Yeah, you know what? Again, I got caught up with some stuff, so apologies for that, Steve.
No need to apologize. It's all good.
I'm glad your vacation was good. Everything worked out.
Oh yeah, it was great. Lots of sun. It was hot as hell. Was in Barbados and actually got to do one of the streams down there. But glad to be back and getting ready to rock and roll. We've both got a couple of things coming up on Saturday, by the looks of it. I'm going to be at VonCon for a one-day comic book convention to do some signing for Atrium. So we've got the first 3 issues in print, and we're going to be launching the Kickstarter for issues 4 and 5 on Monday. But we get to see some comic book fans and give away some posters and sign some books.
Yeah, and I'll be at I believe it's the Toronto Prop Market. It's a very interesting show. Some of the best prop makers in Toronto coming together to show off some of their stuff. It's more like a hangout party, but they do have vendor tables there. A lot of things we can sell, so it's going to be a lot of fun. And it's I always enjoy going to the prop parties because you get to see stuff from like replicas that people are making for like proton packs and phasers and guns from different movies and stuff like that. A lot of Indiana Jones stuff. The Ark. Sorry, not the Ark. The Inca. The little head from Indiana Jones.
Right.
Yeah, things like that. So a lot of great stuff. Swords. A whole bunch of different things. So if anybody's interested, it's happening in Etobicoke. You can check out my Instagram post for the link. A lot of fun.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, sounds like it'll be really interesting. And it's that time of the year anyway where cons and a whole bunch of like one day kind of special event shows pop up. So you can be pretty much into geek culture all throughout the summer, basically week to week.
Yeah, things are just going like crazy. Obviously, this is the last few weeks of summer, and conventions just seem to keep coming fast and furious. Whether it's small toy shows, Fan Expo happens at the end of the month, and even after that, there's still a lot of other events happening as the year winds down. Kids are going back to school, so it's going to be a hectic time for a lot of people.
Yeah, for sure. And I had a chance to hit a local comic book shop today and picked up a couple of gems. I'm just going to reach for them. First, I picked up the new Uncanny X-Men by Gail Simone, and I forget who's on art chores. Just let me take a quick look. Figures the things would be at the back, but it's by Simone and Marquez. And then this one had me chuckling. It's called
Pedestrian.
The Pedestrian by Magma Comics, sorry. So Magma. And it's about a good Samaritan who basically saves people and cannot disobey the laws of using a crosswalk. It's absolutely ridiculous. So when you get the well, I'm not going to ruin it, but certain signals this individual has to abide by. It's the craziest thing I've read in a long time, and it's absolute jokes.
Neat. Sounds like a good read. And it's not an indie book. It's actually by Magma Studios. You said, or
yeah, I'm gonna actually know what I'll do. I'll throw up the page. Which one is it? There we go.
Nice.
Yeah. So this is a great cover.
Yeah.
And so I'll just read the blurb. So behold, the pedestrian, a strange visitor speed walks into Summer City and silently changes the lives of its residents. But not all is quiet in this sleepy small town. An ancient conflict linked to the secret history of street signs is brewing. Yes, I said that. Secret history of street signs. Don't walk, run. In the pedestrian, justice always has the right of way. It like the tagline alone is just ridiculous. So Joey Esposito and Sean Von Gorman. So Joey Esposito is a writer, and Sean Von Gorman who I guess grew my art chores. So if you're near a local, an LCS, I would say run or walk quickly and check it out.
That is so neat. Has a very tick vibe from the artwork.
It does have
Um,
tick kind of feel, like you
yeah.
can almost feel that's in the same kind of universe.
Hmm.
And so I'm enjoying that. I picked up a couple other books as well too, so I'll be doing a lot of reading before the convention. And with the long flight back to not so sunny Toronto, I got caught up on the Batman Cape Crusader,
Oh, nice.
and I have to admit I'm kind of mixed on it.
I think there's going to be a lot of a lot of questions, and it definitely has the aesthetic of the original animated series. I mean, it's got, and I think that's as far as it takes it. I think that there's a lot of, it's kind of like Batman Year One. You know what I mean? Like not so much in the storyline, but definitely taking obviously cues from, I mean, Bob Kane, right? I mean, like we could talk about that for until the cows come home.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's I think that's where they were taking it from, the original cover art, the original, short, like the short gloves, the
Short gloves.
much more
Yeah.
pointed ears, right? All that crazy stuff that happened in the first year, and they've changed some things, right? Like
Oh yeah.
some more obvious than others, and it's got a very dark tone to it. You know what I mean? So. Um, what's your overall impression though, as a whole? Are you saying you're mixed, right?
Yeah. And you know what it is? It's not, ironically, it's not the writing, it's the animation.
Mm.
Because it comes across, you're right. It has a very retro feel to it. It kind of reminds me, it just is just dating me, of a serial, like those old 30s and
Yeah,
40s serials.
sure.
And
Yeah.
so each episode, it's pretty self-contained. You're right, they do kind of re-image and reimagine the Bat universe, and they do some really interesting dynamic changes with the interpersonal conflict as well as relationships. So Bruce and Alfred don't necessarily interact the way that you would expect them to. I'm not going to get into it too much, but I find that to be quite interesting, and I like what they've done with a lot of the characters and the twists. But there was just something about the animation, and it wasn't anything that I can put my finger on. And I think what it was, because it still has the Bruce Timm aesthetic, right? I think he's an exec producer
Sure.
on it.
Yep.
But there's just something about it where, even though it's more modern, but it's done in that retro style, it doesn't seem as fluid as the animated series, and especially the Batman and Robin further seasons of the animated series. And so I think that kind of threw me off a bit. But as you go through, it's really interesting, because usually an animated series starts off really, really good, and then the animation will dip a little bit. In this one, there are a couple, I guess, by about issue. Listen to me talk about, like, it was a comic book. By about episode 4 or 5, it starts to pick up a little bit. And I think they start to hit their stride. And so for me, it's just having to, I guess, readjust my expectations of what it's going to look like visually. But storytelling wise, I like.
Yeah, I think that's the real problem, right? I think that because the animated series is such a beloved, show, right? And of course, Kevin Conroy is no longer with us.
Yeah.
In this series, it is sort of Kevin Conroy-ish in terms of its tone, but the actor playing Batman right now, he's taking it in his own, obviously way of playing Batman. But I think that there was a lot of expectation put on the design, and I think that that's the problem. I think that people like yourself and myself, right, we're projecting animated series, the Batman, the animated series, TAS, right?
Mhm.
Um, and that's, I think that's the problem. I think that these are actually very different things. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And even though the aesthetic might be there in terms of its overall character design, in terms of the intention, maybe it's not the same. and we should, and it's very difficult for people who have a certain expectation going into something to like say, okay, fine, I'm watching the animated series, but you're not, right? You're watching this new Batman, right? And that's the key. And it's kind of like that same situation where you go in and watching the Batman, right? And at first you're expecting something, but in order to get you out of that expectation, they shock you right away, which is a good and bad thing at the same time. Spoilers ahead. If anybody who hasn't watched the Batman, um, you should. First of all, secondly, the opening sequence is very shocking in terms of what you see in the first 5 minutes of the show. I mean, um, yeah, I think that most of the Batman show movies and shows that we are accustomed to, they didn't really put you in that situation right away, right? It would be even much more like a Seven situation, like, because what they do is they show you the aftermath first. They don't actually show you the act, and you figure it out. It's a whodunit kind of situation as you go along. But in the Batman, they literally showed you what happened, exactly how it happened, and then you see Batman trying to figure it out with Gordon, Lieutenant Gordon, and going through that whole process. So I think that this was somewhat of the same idea, where we have to separate ourselves from the versions and really come to terms with the fact that this is a new Batman and like you said, it's still got that Art Deco style, right? As you said, the executive producers and everybody who's involved in this, they still have that aesthetic, but this is something brand new, and I think it's new, it's refreshing, it's a different take on it. And he just said, as I say a lot of times, I have a 3 episode rule, and it's not until around the third or fourth episode where it starts picking up. And thank God, because if it didn't, then there will be some issues going forward there too. So just
Yeah.
again, it's hard to say these things without really just telling you what's happening and why you should watch it and everything like that, right? But suffice it to say, I think that everyone should invest a little bit of time and take a look at it, because it's it's gonna take a little bit of time to ferment, but once it happens quickly. So
Yeah, definitely. It's one of those things where I think the voice cast does a great job. They even do an amazing kind of callback to the Fleischer Superman,
oh yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Like in the I think it's episode 8. They do a great job of that, and they have a very interesting villain, Onomatopoeia, which had striking kind of visuals, but also very 30s, 40s ish in the aesthetics and modus operandi. And all I will say is this, and I think this is one of the kind of interesting things about the design is that it, like the designs are solid. It's just the way that they're kind of animated. It's not as fluid or as smooth in certain aspects. And I don't think that the 3D modeling kind of marries itself as well to how the animated figures look. There's certain times where like the cars and stuff just look like just slightly off, or the way that a character would turn that's slightly off. But in terms of storytelling, it's great.
Yeah, it is interesting because um, as we know from the original animated series, a lot of the episodes were done in Japan, and but all the direction came from Warner Brothers Studios, but the fluidity aspect and what you're talking about, it varies much heavily. And this is the thing about our brains, right? Like we have a preconceived notion as to what we should be expecting to see, and of course, when we don't see it, then we say, "Oh, that was weird," right? That's not the way
Yeah.
that should have worked, right? But just sitting back and enjoying the moment, it's one of those things which is important. And as I said, like like with a good storytelling and good writing, um, as people will find out later, it'll catch up to it. Is what I'm trying to say. So just give it some time.
Although, and I'll share this. It's a hit. It's definitely a hit.
Mhm. Yep.
Um, Let me just show this here. It's certified fresh at 100%.
Wow, wow, that's nearly impossible.
Yeah,
So that's amazing. Yeah,
yeah, like
yeah,
that's pretty crazy.
that is crazy. That's absolutely nuts. That's
Yeah,
bonkers.
yeah, and
Yeah.
I've got 2 episodes left, and I'm looking forward to seeing how it ends.
Mhm.
Um, and there was one episode though that I just finished, and it's one of those ones where they just give you these little nuggets of bat lore, but not how you'd expect it.
Mm.
Uh, great job. It was
Yeah.
a great job.
It's I think Batman's been done so many times that you know they're always trying to not necessarily reinvent Batman, but what they've always tried to do is try to you know create new situations and new ways of telling the same story, right? And I think that's hard, right? I think that no matter who plays Batman, whether it's Michael Keaton or Val Kilmer or um, Christian
Clooney.
Bale or any one of these great actors who portrayed him, Ben Affleck, um, all these guys. I think um, I think that because we have um, oh my god, what is it now? 80 years? Like it's 40.
Yeah, I think it's 80.
It's 80 years of Batman. My god, think about
He could run for president. To be honest with you.
I mean, it's only 20 years away from a century.
Yeah,
You know what
pretty
I mean?
much.
That is a lot of Batman, right?
And
But
aren't they like, I think Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman, aren't they going into public domain soon?
that's the scary part about that too, right? But you also got to remember that, and this is the key, right? So the iteration that Bob Kane created, I'm going to put that in quotes there. The
Yeah.
iteration that Bob Kane created,
Don't
this is the
forget Bill Finger. Don't forget Bill Finger.
yeah, yes, no, of course, but
Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah, I
no,
know. I know exactly where you're
100%,
going.
which
Yes.
is why I did that, right? But
Right.
but what I'm trying to say is that um, though that version of Batman, the one we're technically talking about right now, right? Supposedly, anyway, um, that version of Batman will go into public domain, right?
Yeah.
So it's very similar to the way Steamboat Willie, Mickey Mouse, just went into public domain. Anybody can make a version of Steamboat Willie now. Like I can go draw Steamboat Willie on my. I can make him into my mascot tomorrow. You know what I mean? I could actually plop him here, and hey, here's Steamboat Willie as my mascot,
Winnie the
right?
Pooh as well too.
Exactly, right? Those versions, right?
Yeah.
But the '80s version of Mickey Mouse, which everyone associates Mickey Mouse with, right? Everyone associates Mickey Mouse with the '80s version of Mickey Mouse, the big eyes, the big ears,
The red
well, that
shorts, the
version of
big
Mickey
buttons.
Mouse.
Yeah.
Exactly, that's the one that people associate with. That one won't come up for public domain for another 30 years. You know what I mean? 40 years, whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So it's really interesting that this Batman that they're actually reanimating now, like bringing into the forefront now, they're creating a new version of this one, right?
Yeah.
That's what's really interesting about that, right? Because now,
And wait a second. Let's get into the business aspect of it.
sure,
Do you think that's the reason why this one looks the way it
as
does?
there's the thing, right? There's the rub, right? Is that actually why they did this, right? Is it actually why they're changing certain characters and the way they look, the way they act, the way they are portrayed, right? Is it because they want to re-own this version and say, hey, that's too close, right? What you just tried to, and that's crazy, right? Why did they do this now? Because they want to be able to say, you can't do that because that version is too close to this version that we just copyrighted,
Yeah.
right? That's a sneaky way, or it could be that this is their experiment to try and try to see if they can get that to stick, right? Because I
Sure.
don't know if anybody's ever tried that before, right? Creating a character which is just close enough, right, to say nope, that's ours, right, and you can't do that, right? Because looking at it now, when was Penguin created? You know what I mean? When was Penguin created? When was because the version that those two created back in god awful many years now, right? What was it? The 40s, the 50s? It was crazy.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah, like when did they start introducing the rogues? You know what I mean? Like when was the first? Like when was the Penguin? When was the Joker? When was the Riddler?
Joker,
When was right? When
Two-Face.
were those?
Yeah.
when were those characters actually introduced?
I could check my Batman encyclopedia. Just to
That's
sure.
okay. I'm just putting it out there as food for. I'm just
No,
putting
for
it out
sure.
there as food for thought, right? Because that is an intriguing concept, right? That we are now in the legal game
Yeah.
of public domain, right? It's interesting, and public domain, as we've seen as well, is a little bit strange too, because there are certain pieces of music which have been, like reconstituted and and ownership has given to some. It's weird the way public domain actually works. you, you literally need a lawyer to actually weed through to put the real
Oh,
weed.
totally.
It's absolutely crazy.
Totally. Let's get to some of the comments. Well, hello to everybody, and we'll just go straight to Highland. Halion Dread. Aside from Penguin's change, I like the show, though it was okay. One of my fave eps was the one featuring Firebug. Yeah, that was an interesting one. And also Lois Lane is spotted in one of the episodes. It's a blink and you'll miss it thing. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, especially that particular scene where all the reporters are together.
Yeah, the gaggle.
Again, that was the Max Fleischer nods,
Yes.
right? Like the little ideas there.
For sure. And then we've got Aaron Hardy. No spoilers. I was a little disappointed how they used one version of a character rather than another version. I like how they handled Harvey Dent, though. Okay, so Aaron, I need to get a comment from you as a response. I don't know if you remember the old '60s Spider-Man cartoon, but Harvey Dent reminded me of an evil Peter Parker, just the way that they designed him. It was a very interesting choice. And then other people are saying that he's basically Billy Zane. So it was an interesting design choice for sure.
Roughshot Stocks is in the chat. Good evening, my friend. How are you guys doing?
Good evening. Hi guys. How's everyone doing? So Jay, let's move away from the actual series itself. You've seen it. What kind of toys do you think are going to come out of it?
That's funny. That's funny to say. Basically, McFarlane and DC Direct and basically I'm gonna say McFarlane because he's in control of everything right now. No, he's not gonna miss a beat on this. They already released a version of this Batman earlier in the last couple of months actually. It's literally the same Batman, but he has pink gloves, which is fascinating. Let me see if I can bring. Yeah, let me see if I can bring it up.
While you're doing that, I'm gonna post another comment. Roughshod Stocks. Cape Crusader brought me back to the animated series. Miss Kevin Conroy, but New Bats is good. Yeah, the actor whose name slips my mind at the moment, and I will go check him out. He was quite good. It's almost like he's able to Hamish Linklater. He's almost able to evoke Kevin Conroy without and make it his own, still make it his own without it being a straight copy. And I think the cast, all the way around is good. I think that the character choices have been interesting in terms of like without any spoilers, the psychologist, how they treat Harley and kind of introduce that aspect of the Batverse. I think they were really clever in a lot of things, but they're like I just said, because I'm visual and I'm an art guy, it's just the animation that just kind of makes me go, You're on mute.
Let me throw this up for you. Hold on for a second.
Yeah.
All right. So if you want to share that,
Just add it.
Yeah, just add it. So as you can see here, this actually, and you can even see the Detective Comics number 27.
Yeah,
right,
in the back.
background. Yeah, and this is McFarlane's take on Detective Comics 27 Batman, and as you can see, it's a loose, and I say this all the time, because McFarlane is like any other toy company. They tend to reuse certain bucks and certain systems, but you can see he's got the pink gloves, right? and he's got the much higher, elongated ears, and of course the very simplified bat symbol. It's a soft goods cape, and it's
That's a nice
interesting.
touch.
Yeah, and it's very interesting because he also has the monkey wrench as well.
Hmm.
Now it's interesting to note that this is the standard version, and then there's the chase versions, right? Which actually have the blue gloves, and this is the McFarlane Platinum Edition, which they use as their chases. This also has the comic book style shading. If you look
Right.
carefully on the ear tips and on the boots, right, and the inner lining is actually blue. If you see that, right, so the inner lining on here is black, whereas the inner lining on here is blue. You got to love chase versions for comic books, right? So
Yeah,
that's
for sure.
what they're looking at. And it's interesting that you mentioned how many toys can come out of this. You know what? It's not going to look like this, the version that's out of the animated series. It's going to be a little bit more cartoonified, right? It's going to be a little bit more simplified. It's going to be uh, much closer to the designs that are in the show. But it's really interesting that McFarlane already has released this, for the anniversary of Batman, whatever it is, right? And now we're coming full circle with this new animated series. So it's always fascinating how these things tend to work themselves out.
For sure. Actually, I'm going to have J Man come in here. Can't stay just saying a quick hello. I turned this off after 8 minutes. Penguin is my favorite villain, and he was destroyed. I guess Batman doesn't have enough female villains. Ironically, there's kind of like there's enough female villains when you look at the way the season goes. And I could understand where Jay's coming from because if it's like I'll just use Spider-Man and the first Across the Spider-Verse or whatever the first one was. Doc Ock's my favorite, but they did Doc Ock, in my opinion, they did a female version of Doc Ock well. So I didn't mind it. I think it might have been just how how this Penguin was handled that might have any Penguin fans a little upset.
I've always been of the opinion, and I heard about the Penguin thing very early on, but I've always been of the opinion that um, new stories have to be told, and are they being respectful to the character? I think that's the important thing, right? Um, and I think that's probably why a lot of people are a bit upset, right? Uh, Oswald Cobblepot has had many iterations over the years. There's the Danny DeVito version, right? There's the um, uh, um, Burgess version, which was on
Oh,
TV,
Burgess
right?
Meredith,
Yeah,
yes.
Burgess Meredith, right? There's so many different iterations. That's actually where he got his waddle in a lot of ways. You know what I mean? Like it was people like people and writers and illustrators. They've all put in their own unique take on each of these characters, right? And now this version happens to be a woman, right? So it's the same argument that everyone, and you and I've gone through this a couple of times, Steve. That's not my He-Man, that's not my She-Ra, that's not my Batman, right? um just like anything else, this is whatever you want to put into it, and this might not be your Batman, right? This might not be your Penguin, this might not be that. And I totally get it, J-Man. You turned it off after 5 minutes. That's fair, right? As I said, I always give it 3 episodes at least, and if it doesn't catch me by then, I judge shows based on their content, right? Not specifically characters. I think that's all. I think that's the way I look at it. I mean, why is it? And let's put it this way. Here's a cool question. Why is it Deadpool can have a female Deadpool and nobody bats an eye, but all of a sudden somebody says, "Oh, that penguin's not my penguin," right? It really is, the as I think we've talked about, the way the character is treated. You know what I mean? Is it respectful? Is it in the spirit of the character? Is it something fun? Right? Um,
Spider Gwen, Dead
yeah, Spider Gwen. Exactly.
Gwenpool.
Yeah.
They're done well, and I
Yes.
think You know what I think? Especially having Oswalda come out first as like
Mm,
that's the first villain.
sure.
That was, I think, a tone setter. As a showrunner, I can totally see we're going to set the tone, and you're either going to like it or you're not going to like it. And it's kind of like this isn't your big brother's Batman or your grandfather's Batman, kind of. Yeah.
There's again, absolutely, and there's enough here for everybody. And if it's not for you, don't watch it. I mean, like totally, J-Man, you totally basically got turned off right at the beginning, and that's really what
What I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the comments, but I'm gonna go back and forth because the comments are on fire right now. But let's go back to J Man. This series is a mess. It looked like Golden Age. Do it that way or not. Like, who was this made for? Do kids want 50s Batman? This is for adults, and it's pointless to change stuff. Some interesting points, but I think it comes back to also what Jay and I were talking about. Is this might have been a business decision based on some copyright and trademark stuff that's up in a few years. And why not with all this? And especially since, like, when you think of who's involved in this, Ed Brubaker's a great comic book writer. Matt Reeves, who did the last Batman movies, involved with it. Bruce Timm's involved with it. So you've got a creative team that's on point. There's got to be some studio machinations behind this as to why they chose to go down the way that they did.
Yeah, whether it's a business decision or not, there's also it's the question you brought up. Who's this for anyway? You know what? That's actually a really good point. It could be that they're trying to reach a new audience, right? Um, but as history has shown us in many ways, sometimes you're barking up the wrong tree, right? So time will tell who this actually is for. And I totally agree that it didn't hit you. It didn't hit for you, right? It was a miss, right? But it's a hit somewhere. I mean, it's got 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's got a lot of people watching it, right?
Yeah,
So, as I said, give it 3 episodes, maybe it'll happen, or drop it as soon as you saw it and never deal with it again, right? It really is your decision at the end of the day. So, but there are a lot more, a lot of other questions as well. So, a lot of things going on with this particular topic.
for sure. In a world where you have Gentleman's Ghost and Nocturne, a Superman tease with Lois Lane makes total sense since it's like, hey, there's also a Man of Steel out there. Hint, hint, nudge, nudge. Yeah, they're kind of doing it in a subtle way, not quite the James Gunn. Um, Everybody's in it in the first movie kind of thing, which is kind of cool. The connected, let's be honest, the connected universe is what makes things kind of work, especially in things like Batman and Superman. You want to see the crossovers. And the one thing that I don't think we've ever had is a 40s version of a World's Finest where they actually kind of interact. Everything's been more modern, especially in an animated version.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting. I mean, Batman Superman, the TV series was, kind of that idea, but it really wasn't these characters, right? The
Yeah,
ones like, the ones that actually came out of the 40s and 50s and 60s, right? Um, and again, Superman's power set wasn't the same. He
yeah,
he didn't really fly; he jumped. You know what I mean?
yeah,
There were a lot of things about his invulnerability wasn't truly. The Max Fleischer cartoons were incredible, and that's actually another tip of that hat, right? So it will be interesting to see where they take this and how the direction is going. So very interesting to see that.
yeah. Getting back to Oswalda, they could still technically salvage Penguin, and they could have twins, like have Oswalda have a twin brother Oswald. That's possible, but I think they've invested so much into um, the actions of the character, and not to give away anything, that you have to keep that going. Like that character's kind of set in terms of in terms of their villainy is kind of like on a certain level. Also giving you an indication that this is not your average Batman
Yeah.
kind of interpretation.
I mean, alluding to that, right? I mean,
Yeah.
this version of Penguin is sinister enough to eliminate people closest to them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that is dark, right? And still almost a whimsical type of nature that they do it with, right? And almost like a sociopathic, psychopathic way of doing it too, right? So
Yeah.
there's a lot of things about this particular character that makes them more sinister than you would expect, right? I mean, there were flashes of that with the Danny. No, technically, there were flashes of that with the Danny DeVito Batman, right? Alluding to that, right? Um, their childhood wasn't the best, right? Like, and
Yeah.
and that carries over. Some things like that, right? Again, so vague, right? But anyway, um, it's just one of those things that if you're not into it, you're not into it. Like I think that's really what it is. If you're saying which audience was this actually created for, I think they're trying to create new audiences, right? Um, is it this only for adults? That's kind of that's kind of narrow, right? I mean, like everyone who's grown up with a Batman, I think that's what they're hoping to do. They're hoping to show people that this is a new direction. This is a new version of Batman, and this is a new Earth 612. I don't know. I don't know what they're doing with this exactly, but um, take it as you will, and watch it if you want, or don't watch it if you want. Right? That's I think the final choice.
Yeah, yeah, especially with what they're doing in the comics with the Absolute universe, where they're totally revamping Batman, Superman, and Wonder Woman, like the entire line. Like Flash rides a bike, of all things, right? I think they're trying to just re-image a lot of their legacy characters, um, and like you said, it's for a whole different audience because truth be told, the comic book landscape it's a tough market right now, and where they make the most impact is on TV and with toys, right? TV, toys, and
Yeah.
movies.
You know what? Here's the thing, and let's not. We're always dancing around this major issue, and it's something which needs to be addressed. The real problem is all these characters are coming up to just like in the case of Batman, nearly a century,
Hmm.
right? Batman himself is 80 freaking years old, right? Um, I think Ghost Rider's 65. You know what I mean? Like they're all these characters are like they're not even journeymen anymore. They are senior citizens. They are ancient. They're becoming
Yeah.
ancient right now. How do you keep ancient characters relevant and exciting and important? And
It's
that's
hard.
where it's not just hard. It's devilishly impossible, right? So if you're going to continue doing that, then you have to start mixing it up,
You have
spicing
to
it.
reimagine them.
Yeah,
They
you
have
have to
to be
do something,
reimagined.
right? Which is why the multiverse was created. The multiverse was created because writers and creators wanted to be able to experiment with brand new versions of these characters, different versions of them in a different universe. Earth
Right.
352, Earth 561, Earth 2, Earth 1, right? The prime timeline, right? Now, is that right? It's for us to decide as viewers as they right and people have been vocal about the versions of characters they don't like, right? That's the way the world works. um the reality is this though, if you want to chart a brave new world, then you have to start creating new characters, right? Which is why Blue Beetle and a lot of these newer characters have, and when I say new characters, they're coming up to 20 years old now, right? It's actually pretty scary when you really start talking about these things, right? But these are the characters who should have new stories, right? These are the characters that should be looked at. But you know what's funny about the way the people who are creating stories now? People are just saying, no, that's not the way you should write these characters. It's like, how do you write a new character if people keep telling you that's not the way it's supposed to be done, right? It's hard. It's hard to be an original character. It's hard to be a creative force. I mean, Steve, you yourself are creating new characters, right? And it is a difficult hill to climb, right? You have to capture an audience. You have
Sure.
to create, that fever, and really capture what it is, that spark of imagination, right?
So here's the question. I'm not sure if we get like there's certain characters that they have a beginning, a middle, and an end, right? Happens in manga all the time. And basically what happens is you just come up with new characters, new stories, right? Because you only have one or two or three bell cows to drive an industry, you then get stuck with having to reimagine Batman 25 times. And so this is how I personally feel. Maybe we just need to invest in creating more characters and maybe let some kind of retire. Is that because instead of getting mad about, I'll just use myself as a perfect example. I probably haven't read a Spider-Man comic book, like a run of Spider-Man, in like 10 years. I think Spider-Verse might have been the last time I was like totally invested. Because One More Day, stories like that just kind of knocked me out. I'm like, I'm done. So what I've come to realize is, you know what? They can have Spider-Ham, which I think is hilarious or whatever, but how they treat Peter Parker, I'll just go back and read the old books. He's got 300 half decent issues. I'll go read those and I'll be fine. And if they come up with a decent movie, that's cool. But I think because these things are so out of our control, and you see it with Star Wars, right? They're so out of our control, and they're always looking. It's kind of like new Coke versus old Coke, right? They're always trying to get the next audience, because I think there's like a 7-year cycle on these things. So every 7 years you repeat the same story. And if people age out and get into new stuff, they're trying to bring in that new audience. And Jamin has a perfect quote here. And I agree with this, right? And I'm not that Absolute is going to fail, but the audience is not there. I will go. He says he goes to the shops every week. No new people. Deadpool and Wolverine will make over 1 billion, and that will translate to 0 new readers. And he's got a point there, right? And the I guess the weird spot that comics are in is you've got these characters who will drive box office, but not necessarily drive comic book sales, because those sales are manga, Scholastic, YA graphic novels. That's where the real numbers are going, and LCSs are closing, right? That's the unfortunate part of it.
So there is the rub, right? There is the rub. We're dangling around, we're dancing around the whole subject. We really are, right? And J-Man's credit, you're not wrong, right? The movies are making bank, whereas the comics are literally drowning, right? They're floundering. They're gasping for air. But as Steve is alluding to, why is manga so successful, right? Why, right? But the reality is, manga has a shelf life, and the Japanese know that. The way manga works is you do have a beginning, middle, and end. Like that's actually where like the middle is long, man. The middle the middle is a Dragon Ball fucking 6-episode fight, man. Like it just goes on forever, right? But by the end of by the end of the Cell arc, by the end of the Boo arc, by the end of of all these different arcs, right? Eventually, it ended, and then 10 years down the road, it restarted again with Super, right? The beauty of Dragon Ball Z, if you will, is that Akira Toriyama decided, let's just stop for a while, and all of a sudden, 10 years later, nostalgia hit everybody, and all of a sudden he said, okay, let's do it again, and like Shonen Jump did what the impossible, right? But the other thing about Dragon Ball, and this is something that a lot of people have not failed to realize, but this is the thing. It's still just for kids, right? Even though people die in Dragon Ball, they do it in such a way that it's acceptable because it's kind of humorous. And the thing is that when you grab all the Dragon Balls, you can wish everybody back to life. There's an out in Dragon Ball. You know what I mean? There are no real lasting consequences. Again, it's a children's story, right? And I think that's really the key here, right? We as audiences, when we grew up with comics, we grew up as kids and we enjoyed these as kids. And then somewhere along the line, comics became really serious, man. Like comics became for adults, right?
I would say mid '80s,
Yeah,
Watchmen, Dark Knight
yeah,
Returns.
right. And
That was the shift.
and there's the key, right? So now comics are really written for tweens and adults in a lot of ways, right? And I really enjoy what was happening with Batman Brave and the Bold. You know what I mean? Because you were sort of giving back that little,
You mean the animated version?
no, even some of the comics that came
Yeah.
out because of that, right? I really enjoyed what was happening there. And the reason I enjoyed that was because Jay Torres and a lot of the guys who were working on it at the time, they recognized we need to get back to a bit of a simpler type of idea, something for kids. Even Justice League at a certain point was very, very dark. You know what I mean? Young Justice was pretty freaking dark, man. You know what I mean? The animated versions, right?
First two
Um,
seasons were fantastic, and then
yeah,
it
they
kind
were,
of
no, don't get me wrong, they're amazing, right? That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm trying to
yeah,
say is that they're not for kids, right?
yeah.
And when you start really digging deep into that, it really does show you how as you said, 7-year cycles, right? People age out, which is exactly what we're talking about, right? So when you bring it down to that sort of core aspect of it, why is it that we now in our 40s and 50s, why is it that we crave all of these old characters that we grew up with? That's because we grew up with them. Back in the 90s, you could not pitch a comic book movie to a studio without being laughed at first. You know what I mean? Like people were like, Fantastic Four? What the hell are you talking? And then we got that garbage movie that actually never got really released except in
What
Europe.
the Corman
Yeah,
version?
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like secretly released in Europe, right? Um
There's a charm to it, though.
there is a chart. No, don't get me wrong.
Yeah,
Just
yeah.
just like
It's
everything.
not good.
It's
You're
not good.
absolutely correct.
But you
You're
know what? There
absolutely
is
correct.
there is a wonderful little again, childlike humor to it, right? That's because again, it was the target audience. I mean, we had that Captain America movie and series where the mask doesn't really fit on his face, you know what I mean? And now it's come out
There
again
was
and
there was the old one though. Remember the one in the '70s where the shield
yeah,
was see through?
that one too. Exactly.
Red
Exactly.
Brown, I think.
Even the Spider-Man live action, right?
Oh yeah,
Where he's got those weird wristband things, right?
the
Again,
outside webs, yeah, the web
yeah.
shooting.
Well, he actually looked more like Black Widow than anything else. He was wearing Black Widow's wrist before
True.
Black Widow was.
It's true.
It's
That is
true.
true.
It is true. Um, but again, this is the thing, right? Um, so this is why we're getting this renaissance. This is why we're getting these shows because studios have realized, shit, 40-year-olds are watching movies which are making billions of dollars because the 40-year-olds are reliving their freaking childhoods, right?
And some of those studio heads are our age, so
And
they're like,
there's the thing, right?
let's
And
make the stuff that I grew up watching.
some of them are in charge, right?
Yeah.
Some of them are in charge. Say, no, you got to do this movie, you got to do that movie, and this, and you know what? It's been glorious for us. It's been glorious for us. But you know what? We've aged out again, right? We and the kids who grew up with these movies have now aged out again, right? Now they're looking for something for the next big thing.
I'll
Right?
give you a perfect example, and you can go ahead. I just want to add this. Like, I love Star Wars, but I don't want to see another Skywalker story. Like, that universe is so vast. Do something else. Even go back to the Legends, which were those novels,
Yeah.
right? Tell stories that are not anything to
Old
do with
Republic.
Palpatine or whatever.
The Old Republic is where they should go. They should go back.
Yeah.
Right? I'm with you. I'm with you. They should go back to the Old Republic. And you know what? In a sense, they tried with the Acolyte, but it's not way back, but it's back for far enough. But it's really mixed, right? Because of the subject matter. But I agree with you. In my opinion, and people can shoot me for this, but in my opinion, I cannot freaking wait for the next season of what they called Andor. I cannot wait for the next season of Andor. Andor is so different, so removed. It's a wonderful series, and I can't wait for another season of that. It was just a beautifully written, beautifully acted series, and I can't wait to see what happens there. It's exactly what happened with the Mandalorian. Mandalorian, fuck, we're finding about Mandalorians. We're finding about the culture of Mandalorians. We're finding about that there are multiple types of Mandalorians, different sects of, and I said sects, different sects of Mandalorians, right? Mandalorians don't show their faces. Mandalorians who do show their faces. Mandalorians who will fight just because they are dishonored. Freaking samurais, modern day freaking samurais, man.
Absolutely.
Right? And
Yeah.
that's so fascinating, right? And then they shelve it, right?
Yeah.
I want to find out more about how many of Yoda's race are actually out there. Like, who is Grogu? Where the hell did he come from?
Exactly.
Like, he's a kid. He's literally a 400-year-old kid. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy.
Yes. Yeah. Like, do they hatch? Like what is
80
it?
years old. 80 years old. But yeah, he's an 80-year-old kid, man. Like, come on.
Yeah.
Seriously.
I got a comment here. Omega 579. There's no synergy with American comics and their movie counterparts. When MCU was at their peak, the comics had different versions of Cap, Iron Man, and Thor.
This is true. This is true.
They tried it back in 2001 when the X-Men went into the leather, right? They did try some of that, but unfortunately, you lose some of the dynamic art. Like when you look at Deadpool and Wolverine, what makes that movie pop is how accurate the costumes are.
Yeah, there is an aesthetic which they're keeping to, which is working. But again, like Wolverine Deadpool was a love letter to the fans.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
Like,
that's the best fanfic movie ever.
100%.
Ever.
But it doesn't necessarily work in the MCU universe that they've actually created. You know what I mean? Like they play around with it like it's in that timeline, but it's not really. You know what I mean? Just because Happy Hogan showed up in there, that's not the same world. Trust me, right? They're playing around. It's just a comedic side story, like a fanfic. Is exactly what Steve is saying. But I think we had a comment. I think Aaron has a pretty good comment right there, I think.
Yeah, Aaron, the reason we want what we had when we were kids is that we're on the other side of the hill. Yeah. Some of us rolling down the hill quicker than others, for sure. It reminds us of youth. No, you're definitely right. We basically what we're in is $1 billion nostalgia run.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? That's basically what it is. And then you get into that almost like that barbershop kind of fight where like who was the best second baseman for the Yankees or whatever, or who's the greatest NBA player of all time?
Yeah.
LeBron or Jordan. Things you'll never win. You'll never win those kind of arguments because they really have no answer, and at times they're generational.
It is
right.
But you know, it's also a different mindset, right? Because again, we're like all of us are clinging on to the same things that we want, right? We want these characters to be great forever. But here's you know what, and you know, I'm gonna open up a can of worms right now, but I truly believe that if they finally figure out how to do Kingdom Come with the right actors, the right dynamic, the right story, I really do think. And you know what? Fuck it. Just make the exact same freaking story on film. But
it's pretty cinematic.
It is. It's incredibly cinematic, which is why I think it would work the best. And here's what I say to that. I say, if you have any balls, like, you know, DC, Marvel, all you guys, if you actually have any balls, you will actually start believing in the characters you're creating now. You know what I mean? The son of Superman, you know, Jonathan Kent. You know what I mean? If you truly, if you're creating a character like Jonathan Kent, who's supposed to inherit his father's legacy, then believe in him. You know what I mean? Believe in what you're creating. Believe in what you're writing.
You know who actually did that? Eric Larson with Savage Dragon.
There you go.
Savage Dragon went to a certain point, and then his son basically takes over the rest of the series.
I mean, like, you know, the Hulk has a son in wherever he is right now. You know what? That's what I'm saying, right?
Banner's the worst dad ever.
Yeah, that's the thing, though, right? Like you're creating all these characters and you're throwing them away. Why?
Yeah.
Why are you doing that? Right? Like Laura right now, she has a great idea. Like if anybody's really gonna like and what is it, X-23? I think like you know she's had probably the best chance, especially now, at being a true legend, right?
Yes.
Much like her adopted father, right? Her clone. Yeah, that's what I was about to say.
genetic.
donor,
What
her
is it?
donor,
Donor. Her
her
yeah,
donor,
cell donor
right?
dad. Yeah.
Basically, right? Well, sibling, really, when you think about it. If you really
Yeah, I
want
guess so.
to,
If you really, yeah,
yeah, they're more like brother and sister, really. Or clone, whatever. But I think she has the best chance to lead a new generation right now. The way they've set her up, it's basically the way they're going. Right? There are so many kids who could inherit the thing, which is where Runaways was supposed to be that, right? Runaways was supposed to be that, and you know what? Runaways still has its fans. You know what I mean? So believe in the characters that you're trying to create. That I think is really what it is. And like
yeah,
I said, if anything, as a love letter and a final farewell to DC, let Kingdom Come be the closing act. For the MCU, so for the DCU as it is right now. You know what I mean? And then start believing in the characters that you're writing. You know what I mean? Start believing in those characters that you're creating.
for
Right?
sure.
Again, this is just opinions. We're not saying definitive actions here, but we are who we are as a generation now, 2 generations removed from where these things came from. Actually, we're getting to 3 generations now
Three,
removed. It's
three.
it's
Yeah,
it's getting crazy, right?
it is.
So because it's 3 generations removed, we need to accept and bow down to the fact that these characters either need to be um, you know like shelved. You know what I mean? It's again, we're aging out. Everybody's aging out, right? But there just seems to be this denial process for all. And as long as it's making money, it seems like everyone wants to just keep pumping these out. But here's the problem with that: you get to a Star Wars moment where now a lot of Star Wars fans are basically said, "I quit." Like a lot of Star Wars fans have basically started to quit. Like
Yeah,
seriously, they have said, "This is screwed up. We're out." Like you have no idea, Steve, how many freaking people I've talked to and said, I want to collect Star Wars, but there's nothing there I want to collect. You know what I mean? You guys keep pumping all this crap out, and we're not having it anymore, right? Whether it's the 15th version of Darth Vader, or the 15th version of Man, how many Mandalorians are there? How many Mandos are there? There's so many. It's crazy, right? So yeah, there's a lot. There's a certain point where people will only take so much and then basically say, "Screw it, I'm out."
yeah.
So
This is basically the feeling of, I would say, quite a few fans of the genre. Whoops, I shared the wrong page. Where is it? Yeah, it's this one. Let me see. Great pages. So let me see if I can find it. Let me stop sharing this one. But this is basically how everyone feels. Because I think what it is you have what you grew up with, and then when it kind of deserts you, right? That's how you feel. Like
yeah,
I know when they kind of did what they did with Luke, when I found, oh, what? This was me walking away from
yeah,
Star Wars,
yeah,
right? And I think a lot of people feel that way. And I
yeah,
get it, but also too, I know those movies technically weren't made for me. They were made for my little cousins, right? Because
yeah,
I might buy some of the toys, but the real people who are going to be hooked on it for the next 40 years is going to be them.
yeah. And that's exactly what's been happening, right? Um, there's a point where you have to basically say, okay, there's more than Luke Skywalker. Like the Skywalkers, as you said earlier, there's a lot more people in the universe than just Luke freaking Skywalker, right? The Force is probably out there with somebody else. You know what I mean? And if you want to keep Luke around, he can be the Yoda of this universe that you're going to create now, right? That can happen. That should happen,
Personally,
right?
I think so too. But I also, being a fan of kung fu movies, I kind of like when the old master's still around and kicking ass.
Yeah, sure. Again, like I
Right?
said, like it could do that, right? As I said, he could be the master of these and come at the end, just like Luke, just like Yoda did at the end of episode 2,
Hmm.
right? Just come in and save the freaking day, right? Because you know everyone was going to die, and here comes Yoda, da, 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 and, he kicked ass, right?
Yeah.
There are going to be those moments, right? And just like in the Mandalorian, boy, did he show up! He show like he did not have to go that hard. He went that hard.
Yeah.
He went that hard and
He
some. It was,
he,
it
he
was
went so hard, Boba Fett looked ridiculous.
I know it was crazy, wasn't it?
And
And
yeah,
And you know what? These are the life lessons we're learning right now as we grow into our final stages, right?
Yeah.
So it is what it is.
So I'm going to show this one by because
Sure.
there are a couple that will kind of come off of this. So John Stewart's Green Lantern, one of my faves, is a perfect example of a change done right. Yes, it is Green Lantern, but a completely different person than Hal Jordan, who has taken up the mantle. Yeah. And
Absolutely.
that's the beauty of the Green Lanterns, because you
Yeah.
have your Kyle Rayner, like you have so many. And if you're a Jordan stan, then you still have Hal Jordan. And since we were talking sports, Clint says Larry Bird is the best. That's why you won't win with Jordan or LeBron. I'll also say this:
Oh
Larry Bird is
man, that's a good one.
probably the all-time
That's a
best
good one.
trash talker. So like
That is
he's
a
up
good
there
one.
with he'd probably like the Doctor
Yeah.
Doom or Namor when it
Yeah.
comes to
Yeah.
sports trash talk. And
Yeah.
then Aaron, I'm a huge sports fan. I thought saying Jordan was for referring to Hal Jordan.
Yeah. You're really up there with all the balls, man. All those balls. Really
Yeah,
up there.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Um it's fascinating how things are coming full circle. Um but just like that, animated series are coming and going. Characters are coming full circle, and then you have characters which we haven't seen in decades, and people just barely remember them. But once they remember them, they're like, "Holy crap!
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember, I remember Rom. I
right.
remember Rom."
And speaking of that, because we were talking about the toys for Cape Crusader, Jay and I at the end of the last week's stream, we were just talking about stuff, and I mentioned like, so you're a toy guy, I'm a comic book guy. What are some of the toy lines that produced great comics, right? And or certain toy lines that were based on comic book properties. And so I'm gonna pop one up now. Um, and I totally forgot about this one, Jay, because I kind of
Sure.
had aged out of the toy scene at that point.
Mhm.
See if I can remember which one it is. Is it this one? Yeah, Kenner. No, I'll show this one first. So this was the Superpowers line
Yep, beautiful line.
from back in the day.
And McFarlane's trying to recapture that magic right now.
Yeah,
So beautiful
and
stuff.
then yeah, because this was based off of the Superpowers comics, and actually they were drawn by Jack Kirby,
Mhm.
which was really cool. So I remember as a kid this one coming up, um, and then I remembered. Let me see if this one kind of came up as well too. We'll go to. Let's see if anyone remembers this one.
I just mentioned it. Yeah,
Yeah,
man, Rom.
Rom Space
Great,
Knight.
great, great series. A lot of people. Does everybody in the chat? Does anybody remember Rom, the Space Knight? He had a great run. It was
Yeah,
a
it was a
wonderful.
Marvel book for a bit.
Yeah.
Um, and then with the Marvel book, it was also then transferred to IDW later on.
Hmm.
And I think, oh my gosh, I'm trying to remember how long this ran for Marvel, and then IDW, and then it was a Parker Brothers to start with toy, and then it switched to Hasbro. I think Hasbro has the rights now, and if I'm not mistaken, through IDW, they're producing the comic books, but they just had an omnibus for the Marvel books. And I think that may have
Really?
come out last year.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. So you can get all those old school books.
Is it a hardback? Is it the?
That's a good question. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. And then there was also a toy line. There's a oh gosh, what was it called? Micronauts.
Oh, the Micronauts. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I think they were another Marvel book.
Yep, they were.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Did He-Man ever cross over with the DC universe?
Yes, he did. He-Man fought Superman multiple times.
Right. And were there ever any toy lines that kind of
Yes, there were. The Master Universe and Classics fought the DC Universe when when Mattel was doing the DC line.
right. Right. Okay. Okay. And so what, if any, toy lines that went into comics, other than like G.I. Joe and Transformers, are kind of like the ones that stand out? Which ones were the
100%.
ones for you that are memorable?
Cops, Cops and
Uh,
Crooks. Cops and
uh
Crooks was a great toy line, which was
right.
originally from a comic book. I remember the first issue of Cops and Crooks, and it shocked the hell out of me. It was a DC run,
Right.
and Bulletproof Vests, BP Vests, who wasn't called Bulletproof at first. He was just called BP Vests. He was literally murdered, like attempted murder by McBoom Boom, and I remember that being a very shocking moment for me as a kid. But then seeing the transformation, getting a bulletproof body, and then I remember distinctly hearing that a television series was coming out, and I was like, how the hell are they going to get away with this? And of course, they completely changed it 180. He doesn't get attacked by McBoom. He actually gets, slammed into a brick wall, which falls on top of him, right?
Mhm.
And I thought that is a cheap cop out. Like that's actually, I thought to myself, that is actually a total disgrace compared. Like the whole origin story of BP Vest is he's bulletproof vest, right? Because he was literally nearly killed by a whole bunch of by a hailstorm of bullets, right? That was for me a really big thing. But the cartoon series eventually warmed up to me, and the toy lines, they were great. One of the only toy lines to this day that I remember still using cap guns, real gun, like
Oh,
real
oh
ideas with
wow.
guns, and
Man,
cap.
dude, you're taking me back to rotary phones and
Yeah,
LPs. Cap guns. My God.
this will not. That type of toy line will not fly today. Cops and Crooks will not fly today. Cops and Crooks is a
Yeah.
toy line. Literally, the little guns. You would
Uh-huh.
pull back the trigger,
Right.
and you put in the cap piece,
You
and you
feed
go
it,
pack,
yeah.
pack, 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 and you could.
Because they'd be coming a strip,
Yes,
and there'd be
exactly.
like these little red dots on it.
That's right.
And every time the trigger would hit that
Hit,
little
it would
red
explode.
dot, you'd get the
Yeah,
explosion.
exactly. And you would and the smell is actually what you wanted. As a kid, there was you got high off of the freaking sulfur. You got high off the
Right.
sulfur as a kid because it would bang, and you like, oh, you. These are the little highs that you got as a child, man. This is like natural highs. It
Yeah,
was
for
such a
sure.
great toy line. It was.
Oh my
It was
gosh,
so
that's
awesome.
hilarious.
So
I remember, like, because cowboy movies were big back when I was a kid, and I actually remember getting a holster with the same caps, and it was a 6-shooter, and you would kind of load that strip into the gun, and you run around the house, pack, 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 just firing away. And when you ran out of it, you kind of, like, out of the strip, the gun wasn't that much fun anymore. But yeah, those are kind of things that you wouldn't quite be able to have fly nowadays.
yeah, it's a crazy thing to think now that something as innocent as a cap, a little cap pellet would create such ire. Funnily enough, though, if you go to the dollar store, you can still find them. They
Yeah,
still, they
yeah.
still have
That's
cap guns and
just to show you the era we grew up in. I remember was it the Popeye cigarette candies? And it would have that little
those are the best. Yeah,
the red dot on the end,
yeah,
so it looked like you actually had a lit cigarette.
yeah.
And then when they got totally conscious, they got rid of the red dot because Ken had
Yeah.
smoke.
But then there was even a better one. It wasn't Popeye branded, but they were these bubblegum cigarettes, and they were full of powder sugar. And what you would do is you as a kid would blow through the cigarette, and this puff of smoke would
Would
come
come
out,
through.
and it would look like you're smoking, right? Like
Right,
again, monkey see, monkey do, right? It's
right.
it's crazy. The 80s is the 80s. the 80s is an amazing time where everything could exist at the same time, and really things were not as serious as they are today. Today everything's about you know what political correctness and what is right and what is wrong, and and it's more black and white today than it has ever actually been. So
Yeah.
it's pretty crazy.
Also, too, one last one. Speaking of that gum, I don't know if any of our listeners of a certain vintage and any of our watchers, but there was something called Big League Chew, which was basically shredded gum, and it was to mimic the chewing tobacco that baseball players had. And you would rip it open, and then you'd take out a hunk, and you put it in your mouth between your teeth and your gums, and you just have this big wad of gum here, and you were like baseball players who would be like chewing tobacco during a game. That's something you just don't see anymore, not only in the sport, but as an actual piece of candy. Yeah, someone remembers it. Hillian Dread, I remember Big League Chew. Yeah, those were different times. Those were definitely.
Yeah, they had the crazy illustrations with the guy and his cheek was like
Yeah.
50 size. Yeah,
They still sell that.
I
I
didn't know
guess
that.
I guess
I did
I
not know
had
that.
no idea. I guess wherever you can find jawbreakers. Interesting.
Yeah,
Derek also
yeah.
has another one where it's like, remember the episode on Cops with the baby bandits?
Yes, yes. They were like they were like these tiny miniature. They were midgets basically. They
Right.
were midgets who pretended to be babies. It was a
Which
really good
is
episode.
that's a throw off of the gangster in the Bugs Bunny who he had to play a
Yes,
baby
some tiny
to
little. Exactly. Yeah, I remember that one
yeah.
too.
Oh my god.
Again,
Good
political
stuff.
correctness that would never fly today. That would never ever fly today. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
that's crazy.
Omega 579. I had a talk with my kid about cap guns and bubblegum cigs a few weeks ago and must have had like the most blank look. I can only imagine what they were thinking when you were telling them about that because like it's just crazy times. Absolutely crazy times. Now, speaking of toys, you said you had some stuff to share. Jay's got some tea to spill, and you want to just hop into that, or do you want a bit of a lead up
I
into
mean,
it?
like like I guess Tina Spill wouldn't really be today anyway. Anybody who's actually into toys today will know what I'm talking about. But basically, um, it's been a crazy whirlwind week for Hasbro. I think Hasbro, in terms of its relationship with fans, has really taken it on the chin this week. But in terms of their look for sales, has just been top notch. Like their investors are happy as shit. But um, their new site has literally failed fans and continues to fail fans. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a really quick look right now and see if it's still happening. Just as we're looking at this. So just catching up, like for people who have no idea what I'm talking about, the Hasbro Pulse exclusives. If you want to share the screen,
Yeah,
Steve.
just pop it in
Yeah,
there.
yeah. So if everybody knows everybody knows what I'm going to talk about. So, oh, by the way, Death's Head was another wonderful character who came out of
Mm,
comics,
that's
right?
true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he's a character who literally nobody expected, and he's actually crossed over to Transformers.
Oh, really?
He was actually in Transformers, the UK versions.
That's right.
So
Because he was out of Marvel UK.
that's right, and he
Yeah.
was multiple times. He's been associated with Transformers rather than Marvel, and now he's actually coming full circle. Um, so it's actually really interesting to see him coming back. Um, but he's not so much of an issue now because he's become a what we call a fan channel exclusive. So that's no longer an issue. The real issue has been Once a Man Cobra Commander, um, and this this has been the bane of collectors' thoughts and nightmares for the past 4 days, 5 days now, coming up. Um, he went on sale on Tuesday and pretty much sold out in 3 minutes, according to some reports, which is absolutely bonkers. And then it was announced multiple times that he was going to be available the following day at 2 different times. One at 8 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, and then 11 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time. So, which is 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific Standard Time. So the reality is that, and it's kind of interesting. The reviews are down to 3.5 stars. At one point, this was 5 stars, right? But it's the customer relations with this particular character have been, and you can even see like nobody bothers writing a review about Death's Head, but people have been very vocal about what's going on with Once a Man. So it's fascinating with this particular character because there are so many people in the GI Joe community, a vocal, I'm going to say I'm going to say a vocal part of the community that has blamed GI Joe the movie, where this character actually comes from, um, as being the catalyst for the downfall of GI Joe, and it's fascinating to see how that's played out because there was a lot of opinion when he was first announced that this guy would not sell at all, based on how poorly he's been and polarizing he is in the community. And fast forward to literally 4 days ago, and you cannot, you could not, you can't buy this guy if you were to offer up, your firstborn. Like, this is ridiculous how hard this guy is to get now. And let's have a quick look, Steve, on Evil Bay. And just for the hell of it, let's type in Once a Man Cobra Commander. Now, watch this. He's retailing, or was retailing, for $39.99 USD, which is outrageous, as some people have put it, because he should only be a $24 character. Okay, $25 character. All right, with the fact that he doesn't come with much. And now, because of his literal sellout 3 times already, and it's actually been a bane of the existence because he's actually come up. What is it that people are saying? People are saying that Hasbro is trolling fans because he'll come up for an hour. He'll come up for an hour and then it gets sold out. Then come up for another hour and then get sold out. And people have literally been on the site constantly for the last 3 days trying to get this guy. Some people get lucky, some people don't. So, $39.99 MSRP. What is it that eBay is suggesting that Once a Man Cobra Commander is going up for right now? Yeah. So these are bids, by the way. These aren't buy nows. Right now it's $69.87, $98, $97. And some people are going crazy too. But here, $129.99. Buy it now.
That's crazy.
That's insane.
Crazy.
That's a buy it now right now, right? $100 or best offer. Let's see here. Anybody like $99, $170, right? $110 on this guy. Now let's find out if any of the $125 are best offer. Let's see what if anybody actually sold one of these things.
Wait, did I? Oh, okay. Sorry, yeah. I saw something else. I saw 300, but it's a different figure.
Yeah. So let's find out if anybody's actually bought any of these. So let's go for sold items. And by the way, there's really no guarantee that these things are actually in hand at all. Pardon me. So as we can see here, somebody's already bought it at $80, $102, $122.50. Right here, somebody bought it for $122 and $37 and $31 shipping. So that's $150 there with 24 bids.
Jeez,
that's freaking crazy. $86, $90. Oh yeah. Always look at this. $94 plus 31 shipping. So that's $120 there, right? 110 plus 25, $125, $135, which seems to be about where people are willing to pay for this thing, right? And it's absolutely crazy. People are, look at these, all in the high 90s for a lot of these, plus shipping, right? 83 plus $40 shipping, 87 plus $16 shipping, 94 plus $22 shipping. This is ridiculous. This is literally highway robbery. 116 with $41. Oh my god.
What?
Oh my god, that's 150. That's $150 right there. $156. So $157.
Yeah. So
that's crazy.
Where's that? Is that coming from the UK or something?
No, it's from the United States.
Egad.
This is disgusting. $129 plus $31. That's $160.
Mm-hmm.
$160 total there. This is just bonkers. Like, what was that?
I saw a
Okay,
ridiculous number
says $10 for the head.
for the head.
Just for the head swap. That's crazy.
Wait a second though, but it's $15 to ship it.
I know. It's not like, and look, there are 9 Steve, these are sold. There's 9 pages of this.
Jeez.
There's if I go back to the very first one, I look at this. This is like, oh my god. Like, this is crazy. This is absolutely nuts. Disgusting. Just absolutely disgusting. Like $113, $18 shipping. This one here, $89 for $55 shipping from the United States.
Where
in the United
Like Hawaii? That's got to be Hawaii or Alaska.
That's crazy. That's crazy. No, this is just gouging. That's what this is. This is absolutely flipping and scalping. Oh my god. $149 plus $55 shipping. Steve, we found it.
There's the $200. We found the $200 barrier.
We found the $200 barrier, man. Holy crap. That is absolutely disgusting.
So once a man equals empty wallet, apparently.
Once a man equals you hit the jackpot. And that is crazy. And the crux of this, okay? Here's the crux of this. Okay, let me demonstrate something here, Steve. You want to just put us back on screen here for a second?
Sure. Now is would it help if they didn't have the limit 5 per customer?
There's the key. You've been reading my mind. You've been reading my mind, Steve. So I went to San Diego Comic-Con for this thing, right?
Right.
I went to San Diego Comic-Con for this thing. So guess how many I was able to pick up, Steve? Take a wild guess.
I don't know. 6?
1. There was limit 1 per person at San Diego Comic-Con.
Wow.
There was
okay.
There was a limit of 1 per person of these at San Diego Comic-Con. You can only get one. You can only get 1 of these. Okay.
Great packaging though.
It's beautiful. No, the whole thing is beautiful.
Beautiful.
Everything about it is actually absolutely freaking. Now that I've gone ahead and so everything about this thing is absolutely gorgeous. Okay, like from the design of the packaging, from the figure himself is absolutely stunning. It's got a trilenticular, so it's got Cobra Commander, right? Transforming into once a man, and then transforming into the full Cobra head, right? So again, gorgeous. They got the actual animation mixed up, but actually maybe not. Hold on.
No, it's good.
Yeah,
it works.
There it is, and then there it is. So they got it right. On the back you actually see the full mural, right? And then on the inside, when you actually open it up, right, it's got a Velcro on it. And again, he is stunning. He really is.
Yeah,
absolutely. As far as the character and its faithfulness, and he comes with a little guy. You know what I mean? And this guy can actually wrap around. He actually wraps around a Roadblock.
You're kidding me. That's amazing.
He does.
Amazing.
He wraps around Roadblock exactly the way you see it right there. He literally wraps around Roadblock exactly the way you see it there. It's a wonderful exclusive, exclusive. And we at the show we're only allowed 1 per customer. Now, that was only during the time that I was actually at the show. By Saturday, apparently they lifted the
limit,
the restriction to 2 per person, which kind of burned my biscuit because I was like, well, I'm leaving I'm leaving Friday evening, right? And then by Saturday, it was a free for all. Anybody, you can buy as many as you wanted on Sunday, and I was like, you guys are ridiculous, right? So then, if you bring back the screen. You can leave us on there, Steve. We can.
I didn't think they necessarily want to see us.
It's all good. We're the stars of the show. I'm just kidding. Here, let me show you the money shot here. Check this out. Look at that. That's crazy, right?
Wait, we're not seeing anything. We're just seeing the.
Oh, okay, that's weird. Hold on. Oh, I was on the wrong one. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
I was on the wrong one. Here, check this out. There's
all right, that's great.
Look at that, right?
That's great.
That's crazy. And now, because they decided, in their wisdom, or whatever. 5 per customer online, and it sold out in minutes,
Of
in
course.
literal minutes. I wonder why, right? And now, what's the oh, somebody somebody lost big time.
Oh wow.
That was really early on. That was back in July 28th. So yeah, wow, somebody hit the jackpot there.
A little bit
That,
too early.
that's great. Yeah, it was way too early. Somebody actually hit the jackpot on that one. I don't know. This is probably going to get. They're probably going to default on this one though.
Hmm.
They're probably going to default on that one. They're probably going to take the L, refund
Yes.
the money, and post it back up.
Post it again.
Yeah. Oh my God, there are more. I just saw that. Oh my God, Steve.
Yeah, you're now at 13. It went from
I'm
9 to 13.
Yeah, 13. Hold on.
Wait a
Whoa.
second. Did I see a
Whoa.
240 something?
Yeah, look at all these prices.
249. $300.
300. $300. Wow, that was 300. Somebody paid $300 for this guy.
Yeah.
Holy schnackies. Oh my God. Yeah, the first couple ones were not. The guy the $2 bid, man, he did not know what he was doing. Look at these. Early on was nuts. Right here, look at that.
224.
Oh yeah, early on was bonkers. Holy crap. Yeah, this is nuts. Oh my God. These weren't even guaranteed. Like this is weird. It finally ends at 14. So yeah, but that's a lot, man. Oh, $300. No way. Where was that? Where was it? No, geez. Okay, it's a custom. Somebody got shafted there.
Okay.
Yeah, you know what though? This is way
May
back.
12th.
Yeah, no, this is way back. This is way back.
Yeah.
So somebody actually had a nice custom on. Somebody actually paid $300 for it. Crazy. Good for him.
Yeah.
Good for him. Very good for him. Right. This is where it started. June 27th. That's where everything started. That's where the whole fiasco reared its ugly head. But yeah, man.
Insane.
Crazy. Absolutely bonkers. So yeah, a lot of crazy things happening in the toy world right now, and it is not in the good way, my friend, not in the good way. Todd C, I think there's still plenty of these Cocos coming in, Nolan, but it's your call. I don't know, man. Like, you're probably right. The one silver lining in all this is that we do know from history that Serpentor and Dr. Mindbender got re-released multiple times throughout their initial sellout. So let's cross our fingers, everybody, and hope that Once a Man will come out multiple times as well. We'll see what happens.
Will there be like small or minor things to differentiate that first wave from the second wave or anything like that? Or
no, the Serpentor, and with Air Chariot, as well as Dr. Mindbender, they were just re-released as exactly same releases through different conventions, right? So they just kept reselling them again and again and again. The iterations that you're talking about, the classic carded versions of Dr. Mindbender will probably be coming out in the next year. So yes, there will be that version. Yes, he's already been announced. So I fully expect that there will be a version of Once a Man Cobra Commander in some iteration, in some form down the road. But as FOMO hits everybody, I have to have him now, right? So we've already seen $300 plus shipping. Just absolutely nuts. I can't believe somebody actually paid $3 bones for $249 plus another $50 shipping. I can't believe somebody paid $300 for that. That is absolutely ludicrous, in my opinion.
It is bonkers. K-Dog Broadcasting. I want to see Operation Dragonfire get some love.
Mm-hmm. That would be definitely a good sum.
And then can't wait. This is Hillian again. Can't wait for the next Batman 66 wave from McFarlane. They're giving us Red Batman based on Japan's 66 movie Joker and the Dehydrator weapon and a 66 Wonder Woman. So fans will now have a 66 DC Trinity. That's actually pretty cool.
Yep. So obviously the DC 66 is the comic book, which was released a number of years ago. they've already released Jim Gordon. They've released Superman. They've released, McFarlane's good at that. McFarlane's very good at releasing all these amazing characters from shows, from comics and shows. So yeah, we're going to see a lot of great stuff coming pretty soon.
Yeah, for sure. Let's see, Nolan. If they do Goodbye Fans and offer them up again, I would eat my words and collect them again.
Nolan, I hear you, brother. I try to get out, but they pull me back in. That's all how it always works, my friend.
Yeah, and speaking of displeasure with toy collecting, I was at my a local comic book store, Red Nails, near my place, and I was chatting with Vito, who works there, and a customer came in, and the customer was beside himself, so mad that he couldn't get, even though he had pre-ordered the cable.
Yeah,
he couldn't get the cable.
Yeah,
and you're gonna have to clarify this, because Vito said, blame all the Capcom versus Marvel collectors.
Yeah, no, he's not wrong. So, Capcom versus Marvel is a very popular arcade game from the early 2000, from the late 2000s, right? 2010, 2009.
Yeah, maybe a little earlier.
Yeah. And then, of course, they had the more recent versions, which had the crossovers on PlayStation 5 and PlayStation 3 and PlayStation 4. And that's the thing, right? As it is right now, you can actually build a perfect Marvel vs. Capcom set. Now the cable has actually been released again. Previously, the only way to get cable was, I believe it was. Somebody can help me out here. Was it the Caliban Bath? I think it might have been the Caliban Bath, or it might have been. Somebody here is gonna murder me in the comments, but it was either the Caliban Bath or it was the cable bath figure. I'm just gonna double check right here. It was okay. So this one is currently the Sabretooth Bath. The what's his name again? So Saber fan or something like that. Somebody help me out in the comments. I know people are going nuts in the comment section, like, Jay, you don't know what you're talking about. Zabu. Right now, this cable is part of the Zabu Bath. So that one is literally impossible to get right now. Very similar to the way, funnily enough, it's very similar to the way what's it called? Rogue from X-Men '97 is impossible to get right now. Things are going really strange at this point in collecting action figures. It's really kind of funny how things are working out right now. Let me see who the original Bath was for cable. I'm trying to remember. Sasquatch. Yeah, he was part of the Sasquatch Bath. Yeah, that's it. So let me bring these up for you.
Yeah, sure. And let everyone see exactly what you're talking about.
All right, so yeah, if you want to throw it back up. Where was it?
And you gotta let me
click
on it. Yeah,
I actually gotta share the damn thing. Hold on. Make sure I'm on the right page here. Yep, I am. All right, so where'd it go?
No, it's there.
No, okay, yeah. So this is the very last version that was released of Cable was the Sasquatch Bath, which this is what Cable looks like there. Where the hell? Oh my gosh, I lost everybody. Yeah. So this one is the Sasquatch Bath. You can see Sasquatch's leg right there. So the build-a-figure for this one was Sasquatch. All right, and this was part of the Deadpool line as well, right? So there he is. This is the Cable that was released with him. Pretty cool looking figure, right? All in all, right? But he doesn't have the right costume for Marvel Legends, right?
Right.
The Marvel versus Capcom. Okay.
No.
Yeah.
He had the X suit back then.
Right here, right?
Yeah.
This is the current Zabu Bath, right? The saber-toothed tiger, and this is the Cable everybody wants to complete their what's it called? Their Marvel vs. Capcom line, and of course he just happens to look like the cable from X-Men 97 as well. So yeah, this one's people are just going bonkers for this guy. Absolutely losing their minds over this guy, right? So yeah, if you happen to be able to get this cable in hand, you hold on to him. And again, let's go ahead and find out on eBay what
I was
Marvel.
just gonna ask you to check that out on eBay.
It's the first one that comes up. Look at that, Marvel Legends cable Zabu. All right, not terrible,
Okay.
not terrible.
Not
It's a
not not
24.
Cobra Commander insane, but
Well, yeah, but hold on. This is what's up right now, right? So it's a $50 buy now. It usually retails for $26 US. So yeah, the higher side looks like a $47 figure, 45. Yeah, these are all in hand. Yeah, $40. Yeah, it's going up and down, right? But let's check out some of the unfortunate souls there's a $58 figure right there. Here's 65. Again, it's up there, right? It is up there. But let's find out the sold items, because look, at one point it was all the way up there. So it's come down a lot.
Early
Yeah,
on, it
it's
was
come
up.
down a lot, but it was all the way up there at one point. So let's see all, and let's say sold, apply. Yeah, $60.
Yeah,
I mean, look, even the leg itself is $30. Like that is just crazy.
that's crazy.
Right?
That's $50 for a leg.
Yeah, $50. It's crazy. So let's see here, $49 there, 44, 44, 39. But remember, the shipping is there too. Say 40 and 22, right?
Yeah.
So
60,
that's pretty
63 bucks.
crazy, right? Let's see. You know what? Let's go by highest. So let's see, price highest first. All right. So those are the sets. Let's go down to more of the characters. All right. So here's a 2-pack. So this is the one. Check it out. $47 plus $61 shipping. Where is this coming from? It's from the United States. So yeah, that is $100. That's $107. That's $108. That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. Same thing here. It's about $100 plus $105. This one again, it's in and around $90 on this one, $95, right? Oh my gosh, all the bath except for the head, $80. That's insane, right? Yeah, they're again, anywhere closer to $100 on this figure, with shipping. Just crazy, just absolute bonkers, absolutely bonkers.
And it looks like it's only been like a month.
Yeah,
maybe 2 months.
May 15th, right?
Yeah.
And that was yeah, exactly, May 15th. It hasn't been that long, right? June 1st.
Interesting,
right? Absolutely bonkers, absolutely freaking bonkers, right? Nobody can find this guy. Yeah, like everybody who finds him basically flips him. Here it is, $50 plus $70 plus $20 shipping, $70, like crazy. 75.49, free international shipping. Thank God.
How does that one get figured out?
Because this was from Taiwan.
Right?
Yeah. And you got to be careful with this. Might not be real, right? There's the other problem with that. Yeah, it is a crazy situation with toys right now, Steve. It's crazy. Randall Gazik says he's $47.99 on Amazon US. That's ridiculous. That is ridiculous. That's got to be a reseller. That has to look, Randall. That's got to be a reseller. That's crazy. That is just nuts. Just crazy.
Yeah, that's.
Oh my God.
Huh. It really makes you think, eh?
Does it really? I don't have to think too hard about that. I'm pretty sure I know what's going on.
Like, interesting.
Good to see you. Good to see you, Crash. What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Hey, Crash.
How you doing, brother? Always good to see Crash in the comments.
Yeah.
How's it going, MGR? K Dog broadcast. It's going well, brother. Good to see you, K Dog. Always good to see K Dog in the chats. Yeah, Operation Dragonfly. That would be awesome.
Yeah. I just want to put a shout out to all the commenters and everyone who's tuning in. It's been a great show so far, and really a lot of engagement. Uh, you know, thanks again for all of this. This is great. Really appreciate it.
Absolutely, guys. And sorry for starting a little bit late. A few mix up in schedules. Not really mix up. It was me. I fell asleep.
It's all good, man. You're burning the candle at both ends and in the middle, so it's all good.
Oh, Guy Dorian is in the house. Good to see you, brother. You know what? We should. I had it ready to go anyway. So, guys, I did want to say, since Guy's in not just because he's in there, I'm gonna be talking to Guy again tomorrow, because they are very close to their campaign, completing their campaign, which is amazing. Where did I put it? Hold on for a second. If you want to just throw that back up there, Steve. Where did it go? If I can find it again. I got too many windows open. Way too many windows open. Okay, wait, is this? It is. Okay. All right. So, damn it. Again, I had it up. It just didn't. I'll bring it up again. What? That's not what I was asking. That is not what I was asking. There it is. All right, guys. Definitely. What the hell?
You want me to bring it up?
No, it's okay. It's right here. But it's. I just I
There we
don't know
go.
what was going on there. So yeah, guys, definitely check out the Lost Landers on Kickstarter. They've already gone to they're going to go into production. They've reached $8,000 of their $5,000 goal. This is a wonderful project, brand new comic. We had Steve and I actually had the pleasure of talking to the guy in our first live stream. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun.
And we saw some really great characters here. But what's really exciting me, and I'm going to bring these up, they just gave me some wonderful new photos of these painted figures here.
Oh,
and I
really?
wanted to,
I'd love to see him if you got him.
yeah. Let's bring them up here. So check these out. So guys,
Wow.
if you didn't know, there are multiple tiers on the on the Kickstarter. And I'm actually going to put this in the chat so people can check it out right now. Yeah, Rom Love. Yes, Guy. We talked about Rom quite quite for quite some time. It was such a lot of fun.
Yeah, and Guy actually drew Rom.
Yes, for sure. So basically, there's a lot of what's it called, rewards that you can choose from to support, whether it's tier 1, which is the Lost Landers sticker set. That you can pick this pledge. You can pick up the Origins digital, the graphic novels, but the one that really excites me is definitely the statues bundle.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I do have the statues, but I did want to show the fully colored miniatures that they have, because these are really cool. Check these out. Steve, are we seeing the project right now?
There we go. Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, I wanted to show that, but then I wanted to show these. Way too many windows I have open right now.
Yeah, your windows have exploded. There you go.
There we go. So this is one of the this was their I think it was the slime character, or it was and he looks awesome here. Check this guy
that's
out.
great. The paint job, that's great.
Oh, it's just gorgeous. Look at the detail on that.
Oh yeah,
it's just beautiful. Now, what you're actually getting in the Kickstarter itself is going to be these wonderful statues, which you can paint yourself. But I mean, just to give you an indication about how the characters actually look in 3D and 3 dimensions, these are just beautiful. Check out this one. This is just freaking incredible. This is like the main character himself, like one of the main characters himself, the main villain. There he is in the background there. Yeah, you can see there.
I think there's a better shot of him right there. Yeah,
right there. He looks freaking incredible. I'm just going to zoom in there to let everybody see. I love the designs, and I love the whole world building that's happening here.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's all about these characters who exist in our world that we just haven't discovered yet. It's just a wonderful look at a brand new set of world building characters. Oh wow, look at this guy. Ooh.
Yeah, that came out nice.
Oh geez, this guy's incredible. Yeah, there's so many parts of the of Earth we just have not even explored, and it's really look at the detail on this guy. Like wow. And I'm going to show you guys the actual statues themselves as well because they just came out really great. These are the miniatures, guys. The detail, like, there's way more detail in the actual statues that that you're going to be able to back, and it's just beautiful. But yeah, we can see it translates so well from the character designs. See, there he is, right there.
Yeah,
right. It's just beautiful the way this come together. Let me see if I
Dorian
can
says
find
the
out.
minis, the ones that
Yeah,
you're showing are all the minis.
that's the one we have right now for the full color. But
Yeah.
I mean, like, you really can't tell the difference. You really can't tell the amount of detail and attention to this has been really really top notch. Um, you can see this guy here. He's my favorite.
Yeah,
This guy is my absolute freaking favorite.
yeah.
Like,
The
just looking at his
the
design,
design
oh,
elements on that character is a top notch.
yeah, he just looks beautiful. And I love it now that the colors are applied. You really can't get a sense of,
Mhm.
the how hefty he is and how if you oh there he is. There's the wrestler, and
Yeah,
he's a lot of fun. He really is. I really do love the way this project is really coming about, and of course the action figures are going to be some like the figures themselves are going to be great. Now these ones, as I said earlier, these are like miniatures. They're like chess pieces.
mhm.
So those alone, you can tell how much detail is actually in these figures. But they look so great. We're going to be talking with Guy and the team tomorrow. It's going to be a lot of fun. I hope you guys tune in for that. It's going to be
Yeah.
during my regular live stream.
Make sure you don't miss this one, guys.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of different characters that that are involved. Now, check these out. So those are the painted miniatures. But if we check out, um, let's see here, the statues themselves. Like you guys are going to see some crazy stuff here because this is where things get real. So these are the miniatures, but check out the detail in these statues. Like,
Wow.
look at that. That is just bonkers. And imagine the paint applied onto these guys. That would be something else. Like look at all the
Look at all
sculpting
the
and yeah,
details.
all the sculpting and details that's come out of that. Like that is crazy, right? You can really start to imagine, right, what this guy looks like. You know, there he is, right? Imagine all the colors being applied to that. That's just bonkers. I mean, look at that. Just absolutely incredible. And these are tiers in the rewards that you can actually pick up on the Kickstarter itself.
Yeah, I put this up
Um,
earlier, but I'm going to put it up again, and we're seeing it. But guys, like when you see the statues at actual size, they really look awesome,
yeah, I'll
and
have a size
no
comparison.
doubt.
Yeah, I'll have a size comparison to show you exactly how big they are. They're massive, and I really like this guy. As you guys know, I'm a big, huge Conan the Barbarian fan, and it really does give you a sense of like, Thundar the Barbarian. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like this one in particular, I really do like. Obviously, sword and sorcery type characters, and this guy totally reminds me of Thundar. I really like the way he looks.
Yeah, Nolan says that he likes the cowboy and the barbarian.
Yeah, they just look absolutely stunning. And we'll take a look at some other characters here. Yeah, here he goes. Again, I love this. I love the sculpt and the designs. They look amazing. It really comes across on these statues. Oh, there he is. There he is.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
love this guy. Oh my god, this is like out of all of them, this is the one that does it for me. Like he's just out of this world. I love this guy. Oh my god. Oh, look at that. Yeah, I could definitely get on board with this guy 100%. Like,
Yeah.
the character designs guys created are just incredible. Oh my gosh. Look at that. That is just great. Oh, look at the little fins on the back of his legs. Oh my
Mm-hmm.
god.
Like
That's
all these little design elements
yeah.
that just go a long way to
Oh,
really making the character pop.
look at that. I love the deep set eyes.
Yeah.
My god. It's literally like he jumped out of the comic page. You know what I mean?
Yes. Most definitely.
Like just crazy. Yeah, there he is, born in the USA. I really like this guy. I really like this guy. He's a wrestler.
Yeah.
I really. I'm just getting over what little bit of con plague I was able to get. Look at those shoes, man. Look at those
Yeah.
laces.
The laces are amazing.
Oh my god, that is just incredible.
Because look at how deep the lacing goes.
Oh
Right.
my god. Even the stretching of the nylon
Of the pant.
the spandex, yeah, the spandex stretching and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I love it.
Derek says I need to invest in a 3D printer.
Well, instead of that, you could just back this project and get one of these for your very own.
Yeah, for sure. For
definitely-
sure. And guys, a couple of comments here. Arthur Adams, a legendary artist, loved
Yes.
Dunks
Yes,
a lot. And then we're looking at Rockstar right now.
Yep, that's Rockstar. Exactly.
Yeah.
That's what that was his name. Yeah, sorry, I didn't have the cheat. I didn't have my cheat sheet with me, so it's a good
All
thing.
good.
It's a good thing, guys going through this with us. Oh wow, look at this.
Oh, cool.
That's
Oh, I love it.
crazy.
I love that. That's
Yeah.
cool.
I love the multi
Mhm.
the two-tone plastic. I love it. Look at that. It's like it's purple on one side and then green on the other
Green
side.
on
I
the
love it.
other.
That is just that's sick.
Yeah, and the purple kind of comes right through.
Yeah, you can see the highlights. It's almost like it's shading. I
Yeah.
love that. That's awesome. Holy crap. Oh, look at the skeleton. Yeah, that's
Mhm.
oh man. That is ridiculous. Oh. It's just a feast for the eyes, you know what I mean? Like this is incredible.
Yeah.
Look at that. Wow. Yeah, I'm really
Yeah,
excited.
great job. Great job on the design. Great job on the sculpts. Yeah.
This guy's probably gonna be my favorite. Seriously. I love the little monks.
Mhm.
I love that idea. I really do. So well done. And I've always liked that little box that they carry around. It's like a box of tricks. You don't know what's inside there. So good. Yeah, man. Like, yeah, this is definitely a project I think everyone should at least take a look at. Guys, they have 7 days left in this project. As I said earlier, they need a lot of help to get the. They really are looking into making a lot like this to an expansive line, and I would love to see action figures for these in the future. So, guys, if you're interested, definitely check out the Lost Landers Origins collection. I put the link in the chat. You guys can back it. There are several different levels to back: $5 tiers, $10 tiers, all the way to $200 tiers, and ultimate packages like $4.99, which you actually do get a choice of several of these. Right here, the ultra package, where it's $4.99, only 10 available. One signed serial collectible statue, one signed and serialized collectible statue. So one of these one signed and serialized collectible statue, but you get 4 collectible statues, a signed comic book print, a limited signed artwork print, hero cover, Lost Landers original graphic novel, villain cover, Lost Landers original graphic novel, Lost Landers original graphic digital version, and 1 set of 5 stickers and trading cards. So yeah, basically you get everything that you see here, and of course you get a choice. I think it's a choice of all the like any of those figures that we just showcased here. Any of these, I think a choice of any of 5, like 4 of these guys plus 1, I believe it says signed
And
version.
serialized.
Yeah, signed and serialized, exactly. So numbered. So yeah, guys, why wouldn't you? I mean, this is freaking amazing. I love these guys.
Totally.
and then you get this entire bundle set. You get the hero version, the villains version, the art print, the digital versions, the trading cards, and the stickers. Like that is of course that's the baller pack. Not gonna lie, that's $499, only 10 available. So yeah, guys, this is and ouch, this one's almost gone, guys. This one
Yeah, there's
already
only
has
one
9
left.
patches. There's only one left.
Only one left.
So yeah, if you're going to go for it, there's only one left. So definitely, I would definitely be going for that package. It's the only one left. So that one's definitely good. But even then, you can even get the 99, the 199 pledge, which has pretty much the same stuff except I think you get one unlocked statue. I think that's the difference. The other one comes with 4 plus the other one. So yeah, definitely, guys, pick your poison. This is a great project to back, and I really want to see a lot of these characters come to fruition, and I want to see action figures of these. I think that's really my biggest hope for down the line. But the book alone, it's got a wonderful, expansive storyline. It deals with the history of the world and the untold history of the world, if you will, and how everyone's trying to seal a great power. And you guys should definitely check this out, guys. It's a lot of fun. Lost Landers Origins Collection on Kickstarter. They are $8,005 of their $5,000 goal. So they will go into production, but we want to get them much higher than that. Let's get them to $10,000, maybe even $20,000, guys.
Yeah, and there's only 7 days left.
Yeah,
so
7 days.
Time's
days
going to
left
tick
to
quicker
go.
than you know.
Exactly, guys. And again, you could pick up some of these incredible statues. I mean, these things are freaking amazing, and I am very, very excited about this. So yeah, guys, we will be having another wonderful session with Guy Dorian and the team. Where is my phone? And the team over at Bamco, who's making this happen. Incredible project. I'm very, very excited about it, and I hope you guys will take a look at these because they are they're incredible. I really want to see more action figure. I want to see action figures actually made of these guys. That's how excited I am about this.
And that's Guy's ultimate goal.
Yeah,
ultimate, getting the word out there, and then the ultimate goal are the action figures.
Yeah, we'll also be talking to Tom. Hopefully, we'll talk to Thomas tomorrow, who's actually been responsible for many of these figures, and it's going to be a lot of fun seeing this whole project come together. So yeah, definitely, Guy will be my guest tomorrow at my live stream, and I hope you guys can make it. So it's going to be a lot of fun. And don't forget, guys, please check out the Kickstarter. It is on the chat. I'll put it up one more time just in case, so everybody can head over there. I have too many windows open, as I always do. But here, you guys, take a look at the Kickstarter. I've put it back on the chat one more time. Please support this project if you can. 7 days left to go. We can really get them up to $10,000, maybe even $20,000. It would be awesome to see some action figures come out of this. I would really love to see that. Sure. Huge shout out to Guy Dorian Sr. Dude, you're amazing. And I hope you feel better, brother, because I know that you also contracted some con plague on your last visit, because I did too, and I'm still sort of getting over it. So, guys, please send some well wishes to Guy Dorian Sr. Definitely give him a gift. I know. We're all under the weather.
Yeah, just how it goes. It's just part of going to cons.
It is, and of course, Guy did work on ROM. So ROM is the one. Like, if you guys don't know what ROM is, you're missing out, because ROM.
Yeah, got to go check it out. It's great. It's actually a great story.
It is
a great story.
It really is.
And speaking of old school artwork, because comic books, the finished products, you saw in the in Guy's campaign, the original art.
Yep.
I want to share something with you guys, because Deadpool and Wolverine's going nuts. There's an auction for, I think it's the cover for Deadpool's first appearance. I just got to share it. The price that it's going for is amazing.
Oh my God, no. Oh my God. No way.
Let me
No way. Oh my god! I remember when that cover came out. Oh my god, that's ridiculous. That is nuts. Can you right click on that and open it in the new tab?
Let me see if I can do it. Let me see if I can do that.
Yeah, there it is. Oh my god, look at that.
So that's New Mutants 98, right?
Wow. We got Domino. We've got yeah. It's everybody, man. It's
Yep.
it's Domino. It's Deadpool. We got Cable. We got Boom
I
Boom.
think Gideon's in there too.
Yeah. We got Cannonball. And who's that kid? Who's the kid at the bottom? I can't remember anymore.
Oh, I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember who that is.
Unless no, that's not Sunspot, is it?
It might be. Actually, no.
It might
Is it?
be.
It might be Sunspot.
It might be
Might
Sunspot.
be.
But $7.5 million.
$1 million. Oh my god.
So Deadpool Wolverine is currently, let me get rid of that, smashing box office. The original cover art is being offered by Heritage Auctions for a whopping $7.5 million. If it achieves that asking price, it will set a new record as the most valuable piece of original comic book art ever sold. So if anyone has a cool 7.5 just lying around, this could be yours.
I don't think Fabian can claim any of that. that's all Robbie. That's all Robbie Liefeld right there.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Todd C, I think you're right. I think it is Sunspot as well too.
Yeah. I think it is.
What does the guy say here? You know what? You're exactly right. And to be honest with you, that comic book art is underappreciated, and especially with what the rates were for the actual work to be done, it's kind of like this weird. And I guess it's just the way that art works. Period. The people that make the actual art don't actually get to reap the benefits of what that art sells for when it reaches the high point by the consumer. So, like Rob's doing okay, but it'd be nice if some of that 7.5, if they get that, was also going back to him.
I'm sure some of it will. I mean,
I don't think he owns that. I don't think he owns that page, but it might. I'm not sure. I'd have to read the article, but if he owns the page, then power to him. That's awesome.
Guy, maybe you can answer this question. Who, because I do know that at oftentimes they would get their art back, but I'm wondering if back then, because by
the 90s, by the 90s they would have gotten it, but people have been selling their art, right? And so there's a possibility he might have sold it, but obviously not for 7.5 million.
Yeah, that's
right.
Unfortunately, if he did sell it back in the day, then he has no rights to it anymore. That's unfortunate. I mean, he must be kicking himself right now. If he actually did that.
And Guy has a great point here, because a lot of people are making their art digitally, like everything through Procreate and Clip Studio. Like a lot of original artwork is not being done anymore, and it helps with the process. But then on the back end, the artist doesn't have anything to sell. Right? You can't go and sell your old pages. And there's some artists, like depending on if they have all of the artwork for a particular issue, like suppose you've got like the Death of Elektra or X-Men 91 when they reissued it in the 90s with Jim Lee and Claremont. If you could have all of those put together and sell them as a group, that's a pretty good payday. Because usually you'll sell a page here, sell a page there, or you might sell pages that don't, or you might only have the pages where no characters are on it, right? So, and Guy has a good point here. We still had no idea in the 90s how much the art would be worth in the future. Yeah, and hindsight is always 2020, where that's concerned. That's like when you think about it, that's kind of crazy. Sal's a legend, but that's what the going rate was, and depending on what the subject matter of the page is, right?
Yeah, it's unfortunate, but I guess if you sold it back then, the artwork is no longer I mean, it's the prerogative of whoever owns it, right? So
Yeah, absolutely. Right. It's kind of like it's timing. It's a market like everything else, right?
yeah,
So the timing is when do you hold it
yep.
and when do you
Guy,
sell it?
guy's right. Jim Lee did sell about a bunch of pages for only $100. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. And because you don't know. And then if you're the artist, you've got tons of these papers, especially if you have a pages, especially if you have a long career, you've got tons of these pages in your home. And so you move them. And I know there's a big convention. Jimmy Palmiotti kind of heads up the organization that puts it on, and it's in Florida in January of 2025. And it's a convention, but it's for all. It's just artists, so it's not going to be like basically it's an artist alley of um, of pros.
hmm.
And so you can have Jimmy Palmiotti, Amanda Connor, like Guy could be there. As long as they have a table there, you can go there and purchase original art from them. And so I think what you're going to see is in the future, it's not going to be the comics that are going to be bringing in cash for collectors. It's going to be the pages,
Yeah, I agree.
right? So like it's not going to be Wolverine 181 is do you have a page? Sorry, Hulk 181.
Yep.
Do you have a page from Hulk 181, Wolverine's first appearance?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, guy says he might be there. So yeah, it's a
Well,
great
I might see.
opportunity.
I might see you there. I might see you there because I'm planning on going. Um, you know, this is a great question.
Yeah, how much were the price of OG covers for Action One at the time? It's impossible now. I mean, I don't think any of them have ever surfaced. Not that I know of, anyway.
Yeah,
And back then,
those might actually be in the Smithsonian
if they exist,
if they exist.
because back then it was trade paperback stuff, right? So they were tossing them out in the garbage, like
And they
less
had the paper
photograph.
shortage and all that kind of stuff too,
Yep,
right? And
exactly.
and
So
and and I'm not certain because I think this happened. Some of the art may have been drawn over as well too, right? On certain pages. And Guy is actually saying here that the some of the pages for Incredible Hulk 181 were given away for free
oh my god,
back in the day.
that is crazy. Who would have thought?
Yeah, and because he was the artist on Hulk 181,
Wow, who would have thought?
legendary Hulk artist.
Yeah, see right there, exactly what I said. Captain America One art was used to clean up ink spills. Like that's the thing, right? The art was not respected, right? It was literally just again, like I said, trade paperback stuff. Like they just used it to finish up whatever else they had.
It's part of a production line, right?
Yeah,
And you had to get stuff done, and deadlines were paramount.
yeah,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Hmm.
It's sad. It's sad, But again, comic book art and pop art was not really considered anything other than it really was at the time, right? And now everything's changed, right? It's amazing. Again,
The generation that consumed it, once they amass their own independent wealth, whatever the level is, they then make the market for it.
that's right, and that's exactly where we are right now. Which is why we've said it all evening, right? The reason comic books are sorry, the reason that Marvel movies are so lucrative the way they are now is because the generation that we are right now, are consuming it, and we're saying we want that back, right?
Mm-hmm.
And again, you can only put the idea forward so many times before we realize this isn't working anymore, right? So
Right.
it's fascinating, absolutely fascinating. So
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, I think Deadpool Wolverine is set to hit $1 billion this weekend. It's if all goes well, it's nuts. It's absolutely
It's so successful. I think it has Disney and Marvel Studios reassessing future plans.
yep. I think so too.
Yeah,
Oh man, what a night! What an absolute
it has been a great discussion. We
crazy.
had Guy pop in. It was great to have you in the chat. Thanks to everyone that tuned in and commented. We had some lively discussion. You know, Kate Crusader had the temperature rising a little bit, so it was really good to see the passion amongst the fans.
Absolutely. Guy says, but then Marvel kept the art. Yes, they did. Much of it was someday to go back to the artists. Much was stolen, and then stolen before Neil got the art to go back to the artist. That's
Yeah,
why.
so Neil Adams was a huge figure in getting the art back to the original artist.
Oh, Guy, yes, you did miss Rom. I'm sorry, my friend. We talked about Rom.
Yeah.
And the toys. We talked about Rom, and we talked about like the look and the feel, and again, we talked about the fact that you were working on it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
And
yeah,
Nolan has a
definitely.
good comment here. Some collect comics for the stories, others of like myself collect them for the artwork. Well, Nolan, you're ahead of the curve then. If you already have some original pages, hang on to them.
100%. You just never know. You just never know.
Yeah. Well, thanks everyone. This was a blast. Really had a great time chatting. Jay, thanks again. It was
Always a pleasure.
a fun
Always a
evening,
pleasure. 100%.
and we will see everyone next week.
Yeah, guys, don't forget subscribe to Comics Asylum YouTube page as well as their Instagram, all their social medias. You can catch up on everything that we talked about today, and of course, we're continuing to post up the newest trailers and news as they come in. So, guys, definitely follow Comics Asylum and here on YouTube, and of course, all the social medias.
And fans of Comics Asylum, make sure you check out Mega J Retro. Hit all of his outlets, and if you're in the Toronto area, he's going to be at an event on Saturday. So make sure you pass by and say hi.
Yep. Same thing with comics. They're going to be at a toy show this weekend as well. So
yeah, up in Vaughan, the city above Toronto. There you go. All right, everyone. Stay safe, take care, and on the comic side, keep it indie.